Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. This is the channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on and talk about books. It is officially spring, which is my favorite season. It is definitely the season for romances. You find a lot of romances coming out in this time, so naturally, I'm going to run through a few of my anticipated releases for the spring season. Obviously, I don't own any of these books and I haven't read any of these books, so when it comes to the bios, I'm just going to be reading their Goodreads profile. And I'm going to start with a book called Book Lovers by Emily Henry, who is a recent automatic buy author for me. This book is obviously a romance and its bio is: one summer, two rivals, a plot twist they didn't see coming. Nora Stevens' life is books. She's read them all, and she is not that type of heroine. Not the plucky one, not the laid-back dream girl, and especially not the sweetheart. In fact, the only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, for whom she lands enormous deals as a cutthroat literary agent, and her beloved little sister Libby. Which is why she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina for the month of August when Libby begs her for a sister's trip away, with visions of a small-town transformation for Nora, who she's convinced needs to become the heroine in her own story. But instead of picnics in meadows or run-ins with a handsome country doctor or bulging four-armed bartender, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie Lastra, a bookish, brooding editor from back in the city. It would be a meet-cute, if not for the fact that they've met many times and it's never been cute. If Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero. But as they are thrown together again and again in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. So this definitely seems like a bit of an enemies to lovers and a little bit maybe of a forced proximity, or at least constantly bumping into each other, which are both tropes that I love. This book comes out on the 3rd of May, so it's going to be a little bit of a wait, but like I said, I'm super excited to pick it up and I will let you know my thoughts once I have. Next up, we have The War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the 4th and I believe the final book in the From Blood and Ash series. For this one, I'm obviously not going to read the blurb for the book itself because that will contain so many spoilers, so I'm just going to read to you the blurb from the first book, which says, "A maiden chosen from birth to usher in a new era, Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of the maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure. Waiting for the days of her ascension, she would rather be with guards, fighting back the evil that took her family, than preparing to be found worthy by the gods. But the choice has never been hers. A duty. The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulders, something she's not even quite sure she wants for herself, because a maiden has a heart, and a soul, and longing, and when Hawk, a golden-eyed guard, honor bound to ensure her ascension, enters her life, destiny and duty become tangled with desire and need. He incites her anger, makes her question everything she believes in, and tempts her with the forbidden. A kingdom. Forsaken by the gods and feared by mortals, a fallen kingdom is rising once more, determined to take back what they believe is theirs through violence and vengeance. And as the shadow of those cursed draws closer, the line between what is forbidden and what is right becomes blurred. Poppy is not only on the verge of losing her heart and being found unworthy by the gods, but also her life when every blood-soaked thread that holds her world together begins to unravel." This is an incredibly smutty-filled fantasy romance, and I've loved every book that I've read so far, so naturally the 4th one coming out, I cannot wait. That one comes out on the 30th of March. Next up, we have One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serle, which I believe is a bit of a found family sort of situation. So the bio reads, "When Katie's mother dies, she is left reeling. Carol wasn't just Katie's mum, but her best friend and first phone call. She had all the answers, and now, when Katie needs her the most, she is gone. To make matters worse, their planned mother-daughter trip of a lifetime looms. 2 weeks in Positano, the magical town Carol spent the summer right before she met Katie's father. Katie has been waiting years for Carol to take her, and now she is faced with embarking on the adventure alone. But as soon as she steps foot on the Amalfi Coast," beautiful place by the way, "Katie begins to feel her mother's spirit. Buoyed by the stunning waters, beautiful cliffsides, delightful residents, and of course delectable food, Katie feels herself coming back to life. And then Carol appears, in the flesh, healthy, suntanned, and 30 years old. Katie doesn't understand what is happening or how. All she can focus on is that she has somehow impossibly gotten her mother back. Over the course of One Italian Summer, Katie gets to know Carol, not as her mother, but as the young woman before her. She is not exactly who Katie imagines she might be, however, and soon Katie must reconcile the mother who knew everything with the woman who does not yet have a clue. Another sort of back in time kind of book, which I'm super excited about. This one comes out on the 1st of March 2022, so I can pick it up pretty soon. Next up, we have a murder mystery sort of book called The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. In 1977, Claire Lake, Oregon was shaken by the Lady Killer murders. Two men, seemingly randomly, were murdered with the same gun, with strange notes left behind. Beth Greer was the perfect suspect, a rich, eccentric 23-year-old woman seen fleeing one of the crimes, but she was acquitted and she retreated to the isolation of her mansion. Oregon 2017, so dual timeline. Shea Collins is a receptionist, but by night she runs a true crime website, The Book of Cold Cases, a passion fueled by the attempted abduction she escaped as a child. When she meets Beth by chance, Shea asks her for an interview. To Shea's surprise, Beth says yes. They meet regularly at Beth's mansion, though Shea is never comfortable there. Items moves when she's not looking, and she could swear she's seen a girl outside the window. The allure of learning the truth about the case from the smart, charming Beth is too much to resist, but even as they grow closer, Shea senses something isn't right. Is she making friends with a manipulative murderer, or are there other dangers lurking in the darkness of the Greer house? So it sounds kind of like a suspenseful thriller and a bit of a horror as well as a true crime mystery. This one comes out on the 15th of March, so again, not too long to wait, and I have to say, the cover that they have on Goodreads is really cool. It's sort of old-fashioned looking, which I absolutely love. And lastly, we have another romance called I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. And Casey McQuiston, I know, writes incredible LGBT romances. So this one is about a character named Chloe Green, and it says, Chloe Green is so close to winning. After her mums moved her from SoCal to Alabama for high school, she spent the past 4 years dodging gossipy classmates and a puritanical administration at Willow Grove Christian Academy. Interesting, so sapphic romance set at a Christian academy. The thing that's kept her going, winning valedictorian. Her only rival, prom queen Shara Wheeler, the principal's perfect progeny. But a month before graduation, Shara kisses Chloe and vanishes. On a furious hunt for answers, Chloe discovers she's not the only one Shara kissed. There's also Smith, Shara's longtime quarterback sweetheart, and Rory, Shara's bad boy neighbor with a crush. The three have nothing in common except Shara and the annoyingly cryptic notes she left behind. But together they must untangle Shara's trail of clues and find her. It'll be worth it if Chloe can drag Shara back before graduation to beat her fair and square. Thrown into an unlikely alliance, chasing a ghost through parties, break-ins, puzzles, and secrets revealed on monogram stationery, Chloe starts to suspect there might be more to this small town than she thought. And maybe, probably not, but maybe, more to Shara too. Fierce, funny, and frank, Casey McQuiston's I Kiss Shara Wheeler is about breaking the rules, getting messy, and finding love in unexpected places. So this one kind of feels Pretty Little Liars-esque, which I loved, so I'm again super excited to read that as well. And it comes out on the 3rd of May 2022, so not too long to wait. Those are my 5 anticipated releases for spring. I'm super excited for all of them. There's obviously a lot of romance, but there's a bit of mystery and fantasy in there as well. Let me know down below if you're anticipating any of these books or if there are any other books that you're super keen for in this spring season. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I release new content, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!